the Virgin Voyages lock-it-in rate. Yes, the price is amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the issues that it comes with are making a lot of people unhappy. So in today's podcast episode, let's break it down.
Okay.
Let's talk through what it is and what it means, the key things that people are unhappy about.
Yeah.
But let's also talk honestly, because we have sailors who are happy with the lock-it-in rate.
Some like it.
Some.
Yeah.
But let's talk about all those things coming up. Ahoy, I'm Christine Lozada.
And I'm JC, top Virgin Voyages travel agent. Welcome to the podcast.
This is the Virgin Voyages Tips Podcast, an insider guide to navigating Virgin Voyages like a pro. Find it on every podcasting platform, on YouTube, and check the show notes for additional helpful info.
And how I can get you a great deal.
Let's dive in. All right, JC, let's first start with what lock-it-in is. What exactly does this rate mean?
Yeah, so I will say it's also lock it in. It's also the base fare. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see lock it in, you're going to see base. They're basically the same thing. So you're basically locked into that room type, that room type. You're locked into that. You're locked into the price. You're locked into the date. There are no changes.
Right. And for those who are like, base fare, what does that mean? New as of October 2025, there's 3 tiers of pricing.
Yep.
There's what we're talking about here, the lowest level tier, which is the base pricing. Then there's essentials, and then there's premium.
Correct.
And each level comes with more flexibility and more perks and benefits. I think is a good way of saying it.
Yep.
And so this lock it in, similar, same as base fare.
Yep.
Has restrictions. So walk us through what those are.
Yeah, so the lock it in, you're basically locked in, like I mentioned, to the date, the price, no changes. I get a lot of people that do book lock it in, they want to change something, and you just simply can't. I mean, you're basically locked in. There are no changes. The biggest thing.
So for example, I just crashed a sailing.
Yes.
I'm locked in for, I didn't book a lock it in.
You didn't.
Did I?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
February 22nd. Well, that's not changing because I'm so excited to celebrate Nilu at her wedding. She's going to find out I'm coming when I'm there. I'm okay with the lock it in because that's not changing for her.
Yeah.
But in this instance, if I was like, I need to change the date. If I was at a lock it in rate, I wouldn't be able to change that date. I am stuck on the February 22nd sailing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So no changes to the dates.
Yep.
What else can't you change?
You can't pick your room. That's a big thing. There is no change. It's just you can't pick your room.
That's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't used to think that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Until I was on one of my favorite decks, which is 14.
Yeah.
I like 14 because I like to be near the galley.
Yeah.
But I don't like to be on 14 underneath the gym.
Yeah.
Because at 6 a.m., I hear the weights falling every day.
Yeah.
But we also had recently a previously happy sailor who is now recently very unhappy as a result of, for his first time, booking the lock it in. And what happens?
So he messaged me 2 weeks ago and he was like, he basically said, "You hate me." And I'm like, "I don't hate you. Why do you think I hate you?" And he goes, "I got a room on deck." I think he's on 5 or 8, one of them. But he's like, "I'm right next to the manor. I can't sleep." And he got off the boat in Cozumel.
Oh, he got off early.
He got off early because of it.
That's not inexpensive nor convenient to...
No.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Because he's like, "I can't sleep." And, I always warn people. And as soon as I hear the word lock it in, I have a script that I send to them. I'm like, just so you know, this is it. Like, you cannot pick your room. It's most likely going to be an allowed location. I mean, there are times where you don't get a allowed location and you get a great room and people are happy with it.
But that's just it, is you are playing the lottery.
Yes.
When you do lock it in.
Correct.
But here's the other thing. Like, I hear okay, next to the manor. And for me, I'm like, well, usually I will hear the manor because I'm in the manor. So that's okay, because when the manor's done, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I will go back to my room. But for some people who are like, I love to go to bed early. I like to watch the sunrise. I like to do the excursions. You're up at 5 a.m. every day in the galley, taking care of you guys on your laptop. It's different. Not every sailor is the same.
Correct.
So if you're hearing these stories of 2 people who sail very differently, you might relate with one or not relate with one. And so you just have to pick what's right for you. If you care about making sure the noise is right. Because the other thing, some people are put next to the red room.
Correct.
And you can hear the red room shows or things like that.
Yeah.
Or like what I was talking about with 14, right? You can hear the weights dropping.
Yeah.
Some people are sensitive to the ship rocking.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
So when we were, do you remember this? When we did the transatlantic on the crossing for Brilliant Lady,
Yep.
I had the option to go into the XLC terrace at the front of the ship.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to stay Central Sea Terrace. And I'm so glad I did, because I was like on like day 7, when we were at sea and it was rocking. I was like, if they don't send a helicopter for me, I'm swimming to shore. I was not well.
Yeah. My laptop slid off my desk in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad because I took the XL up front and it was bad.
Yeah. But you know what? Steven the balancer, love him so much. He's like, it's like being rocked to bed each night.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't mind it.
I was like feeling my motion sickness patches and being like,
Yeah. Work.
Yeah. But at the same time, right? Not everyone is affected
Yeah, exactly.
by noise. Not everyone is affected by the movement of the ship. Like, it just depends. So if you don't care, a lock it in might be a great option.
Yeah.
And if you care, a lock it in is a really awful option. So what other issues do people have? You can't change the date. You can't choose your room. What else?
The other big thing is going to be the 15-day dining window.
Oh, yeah.
So that's rough. I mean, I basically tell people, I'm like, you're probably going to be eating at 9:30 at night, every single night, or you're going to be eating in the galley.
I mean, you say that, and I will say for most sailors, that is the case. They're unhappy with that late dining time or eating at the galley.
Yep.
Whereas you and I, I'm like, yeah, that's what we normally do.
Yeah.
Like, we never book our reservations in advance.
we
We
don't.
just walk in and show up. It's harder these days because the ship is busier than ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the rotating dinner at the galley, but especially it's one of your first times on Virgin and you're like, man, I really want to like try those dishes at Extra Virgin,
sure.
at Rojo, at Razzle Dazzle, at all the restaurants. You might feel differently about that. But if you are someone who's happy to eat dinner at 9:30 p.m., many people are, then that's fine. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
The dining window is not that big of a deal. No one goes starving on Virgin Voyages. It's just a matter of getting your first pick of what you want to be eating that night. So the dining window is another one. Okay.
And there's no upgrading. So there is no going, hey, I booked a lock it in, but now I want to bump up to a sea terrace. There is none of that. I'm telling you, when you're locked in, you're locked in. I mean, no matter, because it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, why wouldn't Virgin want that money? And it's their policy. Like, you're locked in, you're locked in.
But that's upgrading to a guaranteed room, right?
Well, if they want to go to, let's say they're in an insider lock it in, they want to go to a sea terrace lock it in.
Right.
It's not an option.
Ah, got it.
It's not an option.
But there is one thing you can do, which we'll talk about in just a second, coming up. Ahoy, sailors. Quick announcement from Christine, popping in to remind you that the show notes or the description of this podcast has a ton of helpful info that most sailors miss. And one thing that's in there is a killer deal. There is a reason why other travel agents book with us. And even if you've already booked your sailing, it takes just 2 steps and 10 seconds to get a price comparison with us. So check the description and let's get back to the episode. All right, so let's cover a couple things. One is about how you can potentially change your room, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the happy people, because some people are happy. And let's also talk about this whole GTY thing, because people are like, oh my gosh, like, I don't have a room. What is it again? Stressful.
Yeah.
Stressful. I've actually been there before.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about bidding. So bidding, this is a way that you can change your room. Talk us through that.
So you do have the option in a lock it in rate. I get to ask this a lot. You do have the option to bid. So that is your way out, is to put in a bid for
But it's
sea
not
terrace.
guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, no. It's not guaranteed.
And it's also like, I mean, is it a full sailing, not a full sailing?
Yeah.
Watch the bidding podcast episode that we do together. It's a very complicated subject.
It is.
But that is one option you have. You can still bid if you have a lock it in. That doesn't guarantee anything to you, which actually, let's just talk about that. Guarantee, the GTY. So sometimes, actually, In which instances have you seen people booking to lock it in and they see their room number versus they don't?
Never.
They never see it?
Off the bat, no.
Yeah, it's GTY, right?
Yeah.
Which stands for
Guarantee.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
So where in the app you would normally see like, I'm in cabin number 10326Z or whatever it is.
Yep.
Instead, you'll just see GTY, which is you're guaranteed a room.
Correct.
But
I've had people driving to the port and they're like, it still says it.
yeah, so if you're somebody where you're like, like I want to be able to see it on the map.
Yeah.
I want to be able to know like which room I'm in, like which part of the ship is it. You're just not going to know. And for some people, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like that's totally fine. And
Yeah.
for others who really like to be planful and kind of know what to expect,
Yep.
it's why I make these videos. I like to know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm going on vacation. I'm spending money on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm taking time off of work for vacation. I want to know what room I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sure, it's
A
not,
lot of people want to know.
sure, it's not the solo insider.
Yeah.
Or it's not under 14
Yeah.
or near the manor or the red room. So that's something that can stress some people out and
Yep.
make them unhappy. But let's talk about happy people. Who are our we have happy people, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. They are the professional Virgin cruisers.
So
They know what they're walking into. So they know where they're going to eat. They know how to work the inner workings of Virgin, and they know what to expect with the lock it in. They know the map, the ship map. They understand where the potential pitfalls are, and they're okay with it. It's a lot of solos mainly, not couples really, that
yeah.
are doing it, you know.
Yeah, because they don't have too much to worry about in that sense. All right, well, that makes sense. So hopefully we don't have too many people booking lock-it-ins who want to get off the ship early and fly themselves back to their home.
Yeah.
And there are definitely cases where people are happy.
Yeah.
And you can save money on a lock-it-in.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
hopefully as you're listening to this, you can make the right decision for you. It's all about helping you to know what to expect.
Yeah.
There's so many caveats to it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and a lot of people, like, once you're inside of 45 days, I mean, you're basically in a lock-it-in rate.
Fair.
There are no changes. There's nothing that you can do. But the big thing is I tell people, is you're going to be able to pick your room.
Yeah.
So when you do the lock-it-in, you just, you're not going to be happy most of the time where they put you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, that's just the thing about like when you say like people who are experts with Virgin or like
Yeah.
the pros, there are like places of the ship where you're just like, ooh, like that's a weird corner, but like, ooh, like that's a weird layout. Or like, especially if you're coming back for a second sailing, like when
Yeah.
I've done room tours with you
Yeah.
and I see lots of room layouts, sometimes I'll walk in and be like, whoa, this is different. Like this doesn't look anything like the fill in the blank. There's just
Yeah.
weird sections.
There is,
Weird, the ship is not a rectangle.
No,
it's
it's not.
it's a ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't care. So if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. But this is Lock It In. This has been another episode of Virgin Voyages Tips Podcast. If it was helpful, please share it with somebody. And we want you to book your sailing with us. We'd love to help you set sail because we're here for you every step of the way. A reminder to check the show notes. Things on Virgin Voyages changes all the time, and you'll find more helpful links and resources in the description. We'll see you in the next episode.